Hello everybody, my name is Elizabeth Callan. I use the She series and I will be talking about Chapter 8 of Planting the Seeds of Equity. So I'll be just using this PowerPoint as a reference for everything, so it's not the prettiest PowerPoint, but the important parts of this are what I'm saying. So first, this chapter is about Dale Wise, I would say is how you pronounce that. She is a middle-class white female, is how she grew up, so that impacted her learning experiences, but she experienced a lot of lack of confidence in her academic abilities until she had a teacher who gave her a different route academically when it came to an exam, which led her to find this very modern school, which then got her into different social movements and politics and finding herself and all of those beliefs, which then led to the teacher that she is today and how she made an environment for her students. So that's all important stuff to know in regards to what this whole chapter is actually about. So, as I just mentioned, this is about Dale's class. So, a lot of her journey has to do with this. So she got into a lot of social movements and she came out as a lesbian and a feminist. So she's very aware in that aspect. And that was all derived from her finding that alternative high school, starting your own high school, which was from a book that she had read, which then led into all of that. So then the impact that this had on her teaching has to do with a student she had named Alexis, who was a female who was dressing in what people believed were boy clothes. So Alexis would often be asked, "Are you a boy or are you a girl?" And this really hurt Alexis' feelings. And whereas those students weren't intending to be mean or bully Alexis, she still felt bullied because people didn't just know how she identified. They didn't really understand how that was affecting her because it was very frustrating. She didn't know why people didn't just know she was a girl just because she was dressing differently. So then Dale had the idea to make a peace club because she had a student a couple years ago named Allie who had similar experiences to Alexis. So originally, Dale was just having Alexis come and talk to her about things after school for this peace club. She talked about a book where one of the students was born just using the they series, so they, them, theirs, and how she really appreciated that that person wasn't given a gender identity. Their name was Polka Dot even, so not a name that would, like how we commonly associate John with males and like Abby with females. This was just a very gender neutral name, even though those names don't necessarily have to be identified with those specific groups. And so eventually Allie comes and joins this peace club and they're talking about the different experiences that they have. So Alexis goes to a store with her mom and they go straight to the boys section to look for clothes, and one of the sales associates was asking, "You're looking for your clothes in the boys section?" Making Alexis feel very uncomfortable while she was with her mom and everything. And so they had chosen to leave that store because they were given such an uncomfortable experience because clothes are so commonly associated with gender. They were also talking about different bathroom experiences, how they're looked at differently. For, if Alexis goes into a girl's bathroom, she is a girl. However, she dresses in what people believe are boy clothes, and that makes people stare at her, thinking that she's not where she belongs. Even Allie had an experience that she shared with Alexis that made her feel more comfortable and not okay with the situation, but that she wasn't alone, where Allie was in line at a camp and she was in the girls' line, and the counselor kept saying, you're a boy, and finally it got cleared up. But it was the fact that Allie had to go through all that extra conversation despite her application saying that she was a girl. So just kind of talking about those experiences that they had, and the whole point of all of this was to make a gender acceptance unit to teach to the class, because the class was not in trouble for not knowing that it was wrong to keep asking Alexis about her identity. They were they just needed to be educated on the topic. So they do this where they have a conversation talking about their experiences, and then they learn about the things that they did, not even knowing that they were wrong and harmful. And then they reflected on those things. And one student even said, I watched someone stare at Alexis go into the girls' bathroom, and I told that person that Alexis is a girl and she has the right to go into that bathroom. And then that person stopped staring at Alexis. So the teacher then emphasized that this is important. It's important to stand up and let people know that their opinions aren't always what is right. People aren't always doing what you expect, and that doesn't make it a wrong thing. So that was pretty much the whole gist of everything, was to just kind of talk about gender and acceptance of gender and differences and all of that. So what does this mean? Wait, is this where I am? Yes, okay. What does this mean moving forward? So basically, it just means in my own classroom, I would like to be open with pronouns. So with this presentation, I introduce myself with my name as well as my pronouns. So that should be a common thing in my classroom. When I start teaching, I will say, hello, my name is Miss Callan. I use the she series. I'm going to do attendance, and we can talk about the gender roles there, pronouns, everything. And if kids don't understand what that means, it's a great time to talk about it. And you want to also make sure that you're not outing anybody who's uncomfortable being outed, because they might not have even explored that yet. So it's just to give them the option to do that. But it's also in your own classroom, you don't want to give gender to specific items. So when you have bathroom passes, you shouldn't have a boys pass and a girls pass. You should either have one bathroom pass or multiple bathroom passes that can be used by any student. This means when you're breaking kids into teams, you should never do boys versus girls, because some people don't even associate as a male or female. They use the they series. They're gender fluid. It could be changing. So it's not, also in school, you're not really wanting to expose someone who's not ready to do that. And this even goes with colors. So if you're giving like stickers or papers or something, or pens or anything that has a color, you don't want to give all the pink ones to the girls and all the blue ones to the boys, because that also is just putting gender into their own, into separate categories where they don't necessarily belong, because there shouldn't be items associated with gender. Okay. My impressions are, I was so shocked at how confidently this teacher discussed gender, because I grew up in a district where we never ever talked about that. We were actually commonly broken up into gender, and I really enjoyed how, like I said, she made multiple outcomes. Not only did she help Alexis by giving her an outlet and a safe place to go, but she also created a lesson to address the whole thing with all of the class, instead of just saying, okay, class, it's not right to continue to ask Alexis if she's a boy or a girl. She's a girl. She went into depth about why we don't do those things. And I thought that was awesome, to be taking time away from your teaks and everything and to just focus on the social aspect of your classroom, because that's so important to your learning environment. And what resonated with me, like I said, I grew up in a very conservative district. We never ever talked about gender or things like that. I even remember in middle school when I had my first girlfriend, my multiple teachers called home and told my mother that I had a girlfriend and how that was just wrong, and it's not a teacher's place. So I didn't grow up with a healthy relationship in that aspect. But this also brings me back to being an RA and how I was in multiple trainings about gender. We were told, when we're doing programs, that we shouldn't be doing guys versus girls or things like that, or even door decorations with the names. Those names should be easily removable and whatnot. So just all those things that I've learned and grew up, and the differences, that all resonated with me well. But anyways, thank you all for listening to this. I hope that you guys learned something, because I definitely did.